Hello everybody, Phil Whiteman with Laketec Communications. This is part 2 of a 4-part series discussing VXLAN. In this particular episode, we're going to overview Aruba Central's net conductor functionality to deploy the underlay for us with a wizard. So I've got 6 switches that are part of the our campus demo here, and I'm not going to bring any of those configurations into Aruba Central. So those 6 switches will be brought in the Aruba Central with default configurations. That's what we're going to do here. So I previously created a group, a campus demo, which we're going to go ahead and configure this group. And as you can see, it's asking for a password, so it has no configurations. It's a brand new group we've created here. So once we set a password, we're able to then start running configurations. So let's take a look at the topology real quick, just so you can understand what we're looking at here. So again, 6 switches, nothing's in sync right now, but they will be momentarily. So as we wait for that synchronization to occur, I'll go ahead and show you the infrastructure here. So no configurations on any of the switches. You can see these routers, so these 8300s, because their primary function in life is to be a router, they have just the default out-of-the-box configurations. And then the access layer switches, because they're primarily used as access layer, we do see interface configurations, but then again, that's factory default out of the box. And if we refresh the list here, we should see that everything's in sync. It is, so everything's in sync, so that looks good. So we are ready for configurations. So before we do that, let me show you a graphical diagram. So same 6 switches, we got full interconnects here. We have a whole bunch of extra interconnects because I use this lab for multiple things, but it does not matter because every single one of these interfaces is just going to be a point-to-point link. It's just going to have, I guess, highly redundant point-to-point links because there's a bunch of extra in there that we'll use at a demo later. So here, like I've got keep alive interfaces. I got things that aren't going to be used for this particular demo, but that's why those are all there. Okay, back to Aruba Central. And let's see here. I don't like this message down here. Let's get this off the screen. It's cluttering my view. Let's give it the browser a quick refresh here. Okay, so now here are our wizards. So we have an underlay and an overlay wizard. It calls us a fabric below, but we're going to concentrate on the underlay in this video. So let's go ahead and create a new underlay. So let's give it a name. And we can define this for either campus or data center. In this series of videos, we're going to do it for campus. Okay, get the name corrected here. And we don't have any WAN gateways. WAN gateways is a very specific terminology for Aruba that we're not using in this demo. We'll have gateways, of course, but not Aruba Central WAN gateways. So we're going to define our core switches. We're going to define our aggregation switches. So we have to give the wizard a little bit of guidance here on what is what. And then, of course, the access layer switches, which are the only 2 left. Yeah, so we define pools so that it can pull from a pool to define the point-to-point interfaces. So that's what we're doing here. And then we're also going to give it a pool so it can set up the loopback interfaces. So loopback being used for the OSPF peering. It's going to be tied to loopback interfaces. And of course, I'm not able to type, so let me fix my typos. Okay, and while we're at it, we can deploy NTP and DNS servers. These won't be in use yet because we don't have any of these other networks defined, but we can go ahead and get them pre-set up. That's what we're doing here. I've already got some servers online that can handle that. So, oh, I got too much info there. Let's get that out of there. All right, let's move on. Okay, so now we've defined the pools it's going to pull the addressing information from. And it's going to go ahead and deploy now as soon as we hit this finish button. So let's do that. All right. So here we go. So we've got 6 devices that that we've defined as we just went through that are going to start getting configuration. So let's go take a look at that. Okay, synchronizing now. Get at the device level. Let's take a look at some IP information here. So we should expect to see some point-to-point links here momentarily. Nothing yet. Okay. Oh, I got an IP here, and I think I have a DHCP server. It just happens to be over on one of the access layer interfaces. But here we go. So we're starting to get our point-to-point configurations now. So we have IP. We are on interface 1125 and 1126. They're up and up, and we can see here that those are my physical interfaces on that access layer switch. So we have 1/2 of the configurations. And if we take a look at the show run, it did deploy some other nice-to-have configurations that will be used later. I think it's interesting it does this now in the underlay configuration. It's not hurting anything, but we can see that it defined 2 loopbacks and an OSPF process that's tied to the loopback 0 interface. The other loopback is going to be used for VXLAN moving forward with the next demo. Okay, take a look here. Yep, looks like this has got its deployments, and again, mimicked interfaces there, 25 and 26. Let's see what a neighbor information looks like. Yep, there we are. Yeah, I knew I had something connected there. So in port 1, I have a downlink to an AOS switch. That AOS switch happens to be running DHCP, which issued that address to the switch. We don't even use VLAN 1, but whatever. It's not hurting anything. But what we care to see here is that we've got neighbor information for the aggregation layer on 25 and 26. There we are there. And that we have point-to-point links defined for those. So let's take a look at ag. You see we have a ton of point-to-point interfaces. Again, because I've got all those extra interconnects for demonstration, the other demonstrations I do, which will actually be taking advantage of those in our next demo, where we'll have a brownfield environment with VSX set up. But nonetheless, it did create layer 3 point-to-point on all of those. Okay, same thing here. And then on the cores, we won't have so many, but we'll have all the links between the 2 cores as well as the aggregation layer switches. So if we take a look at one of these, it is a /31, and it is defined as the OSPF point-to-point. So same thing with the other core here, just to complete the show and tell of all the point-to-points. They are there, full mesh, looks good, or full synchronization state, I should say. All right, so I think enough showing that we have neighbors. It's all there. We have full sync with OSPF. So once again, to take a look at the environment. So can we reach from one side of this to the other? Can we get from, say, access B over to core A? Okay, so if we just pluck one of these IP addresses off of here, just pick this one at random. Here we go. So yes, we can. So from the access A switch, I can reach across to the core. So very good. So let's grab one of the loopbacks. Let's try it from this access layer switch. Just make sure reachability is there. And indeed it is. So everything's reachable everywhere. So that is really it. That's we've defined the underlay that will be used for our VXLAN tunneling, which we're going to cover in the next video. So look forward to number 3 in our series here.